After this video, you will be able to easily recognize whether your own pension system is actually a pyramid scheme. Because I am going to present to you the pension system of Finland, that last year, according to one economic paper, was the 8th best in the world, where pensions get paid, all guaranteed by the government. But listen, the Finnish pension system is actually a state-run pyramid scheme. In this video, I'm gonna tell you roughly how it works, the history of how it came to be, and from the first moment you will see how it is a pyramid scheme. And you might wanna watch this video because this is a really good real-life example how even a society that is considered advanced and honest can actually kind of, well, screw you over. Alright, so let's go. So in Finland in the 1950s, people started thinking that it would be nice to be one day to retire. You wouldn't have to go to work, yet you would still get a paycheck. And this system, this came to be in the 1960s. And in the 60s, the Finnish population age structure, it looked like this. Oh, and by the way, does that figure, that shape, remind you of anything? So, yeah. So, what they did, they created a pension system that works roughly like this. So, this group decided that they are going to start paying pensions to this group, and when this group goes into retirement, they will be starting to receive pension paid by this group. And some people say that it is not a pyramid scheme. And at that moment, it was also decided that any extra pension money will be put into pension funds. Never, by the way, talking about what the extra amount should be. And that will come up later. Oh, and at that time, they said that these pension funds will act as a buffer. But a buffer for what? I will tell you in this video. But I've noticed that the people who represent this system, they don't use this word buffer anymore. You know why? Because that would reveal the system for what it is. You see, the thing is that people lie, people explain. But money and wealth doesn't lie or explain. And when you want to find out the truth, simply follow the money. And now we will follow the money. So the way it works is that you have your gross salary. That is what you see on your paycheck. From your gross salary, there will be deducted an amount that just now was 7.3%. And this goes to the pension system. But on top of that, from your gross salary, your employer will pay an amount for the privilege of paying your gross salary, an amount that last year on average was over 17%. 17. And this figure is something that the employee never sees anywhere. It is an added cost for the employer, for the privilege of paying that salary that the employee never sees. And what does that tell you about this system when it has to be from the first moment hidden from the view of the employee. And right now, last year, 2025, overall it was on average almost 25% that goes into the pension system. And this is what makes the Finnish pension system a state-run pyramid scheme. A pyramid scheme is a finance organization where the older participants are making profits from the newer participants' payments. And that is the Finnish pension system. And also, have you ever heard this word, pension bomb? Well, what is the pension bomb? That is the pension bomb of a pyramid scheme. A pension bomb is when there are no longer new participants to pay off the older participants' profits. In Finland, when the age structure in the 60s looked like this, well, in the 90s, when I was born, it looked like this, and 2024, it looked like this. There are more retirees and less people to pay their pensions. And in the 60s, per one pensioner, there were, I think, over 4 workers paying the pension, and in 2020s, for one pensioner, there were less than 2. And some say that it is not a pyramid scheme. How is this not a pyramid scheme? You see, the pension payment has only been almost 25% for slightly less than 10 years now. It was 20% from the year 96, but in the 60s it was only 5, and now it is almost 25. And a pyramid scheme is a finance organization where the older participants make profits out of the newer participants' payments. So now, that almost 25%, where does that go? Well, once again, let's follow the money. 2025. That almost 25% payment, it amounted to 28.2 billion. But where did that money go? Well, almost 90% of it went to the current pensions, meaning it went to the current pensioners' pocket. And only 10% or 11% roughly only went to actually pension funds. But if you look at the amount of the paid pensions, 37.22 billion, that is a lot higher. So what they did was that they took 7.2 billion from the pension funds, which, let's be honest, is the purpose of the pension funds, and then the rest came from different places, like the state, almost 5 billion, which I assume is taxpayers' money. So you might think that if 90% of the pension payments goes to the pensioner's pocket, it is not a 100% pyramid scheme, it is only 90%. But no, it is more than 90% pyramid scheme, because a portion of it comes from the taxpayers' money. And some people say that no, the Finnish pension system is not a pyramid scheme because there are the pension money, the pension funds, and there is so much wealth in it. But when you ask the person how much, well, usually they don't know, but even if they do know that right now it's about 290 billion, seems like a lot, but there are roughly 1.6 million pensioners, which means that there is roughly 180,000 euros per pensioner. And that Well, if you take, let's say, 4% of that capital, well, that would amount roughly to 600 euros per month. But the average pension is over 2,000. So where does that over 1,000 come from? It comes from the payments of the younger participants currently in the workforce. Because the older participants are making profits out of the younger participants' payments. That 7.2 billion that was taken from the pension funds was about 2.6% of the overall funds, and that percentage is actually quite alright, that it should be sustainable. But if you look at how much did the pension funds grew in that year, 2025, from 274.4 billion to 290 billion, well, it's roughly 5.6%. And 5.6% is really not enough for the wealth to accumulate for the younger generation when they get into retirement. So that's it. That is the Finnish pension system. And how is this not a pyramid scheme? In fact, I remember one finance person saying that if he were to sell this system as a private product, he would be sent to prison. Why? Because it's a pyramid scheme. There is no argument about it. Yet, a lot of people in Finland, they defend this system. And it's so strange. They say things like, no, this is not a pyramid scheme. This is a pension system where those who are currently employed pay pension money to the pensioners, and when they become pensioners themselves, they will start receiving money from the younger generations who are now in the workforce. But that is a pyramid scheme. Good God. And then they also say, which is a straight up lie, that this pension system, this is an agreement between the generations. But no, it isn't. You know why? Because the younger generation was never asked. They were told. This pension system is one that has been dictated from the older generation to the younger generation. The younger generation was never asked. They were told. I wanted to present to you this Finnish system that is a pyramid scheme because you need to know your own system. And this system is common in European countries. And right now, especially in countries like France, that is actually causing a lot of trouble there, apparently. And whether you think this system is good or bad, well, I am really interested to know what you think. So please leave your comments down below. But in this video, I just wanted to tell you what the Finnish pension system is actually like. That was the point of this video. And this is Radio Heikkala. Thank you for watching.